let's keep the focus on the water shortages currently gripping many parts of our country. Let's go to our reporter Heidi Giokos. She is at Rand Water. Heidi, good morning to you. So we had a bit of rain, I would say Friday night and of course on Saturday. What's Rand Water saying in terms of us worrying about day zero in Gauteng?
Well, let's actually hear from Rand Water themselves. We're joined by Heidi Singo, who's Executive Manager in Operations. Thanks so much for your time this morning, Heidi. Let's start off with the fact that there is a big concern, specifically in Gauteng, around water supply, given the fact that there have been water restrictions recently. There is no rain. There's a little bit of rain. There's been a lot of heat waves. Is there a crisis and is there a need to panic, given that, where water is at the moment?
Yeah. Good morning, Heidi, and good morning to the viewers of ENCA. Look, this is what we had anticipated both as Rand Water and the Department of Water and Sanitation. I think for over a month we've been communicating that the heat wave is on us. We've been communicating that we are not going to get rain. We are not getting rain at the moment, and rain possibly would be coming through towards the end of November. Fortunately, over the weekend we had some, I think, decent drizzles. But I think what is important to communicate to our viewers is that the call that we had made and the restrictions that we initiated over time throughout our network, that has really brought some significant improvements. So in the last week we saw about a 6.8% improvement. That is equal to about 311 megaliters of water. Now that's water that we are able to then keep back into our reservoirs as reserves for our consumers. Now, is there a crisis? I'm going to echo what the Honourable Minister has said. We don't have a crisis, particularly in Gauteng. We are, as Rand Water, are able to supply water beyond what we are supposed to supply. And perhaps explaining it again, under normal circumstances, we should be supplying about 4,368 megaliters per day. We have been supplying close to 4,900 megaliters, meaning we are running to full capacity and consumers are even using what is in reserves. So cutting back that 6.8%, it's a significant improvement. And I can tell you that even the rain helps, because people then stop watering gardens and doing all sorts of things.
Okay, Heidi, I just want to ask you, are consumers heeding a call to use water sparingly, given the fact that as much as you say there isn't a crisis, yeah, we aren't receiving as much rainfall as need be?
Well, I think they are, but to a certain extent. Because if they did, we would have brought back the system to 4,386 almost immediately. So the response was also assisted by restrictions. So if consumers were to respond in a manner that we expect, then would not have had to initiate restrictions. And the intention is to keep those until we see that from the consumer's side there is deliberate action to save water.
Will there be further water restrictions in Gauteng?
Well, we are on restrictions as we speak. We are on other areas still on level 2. But of course we've got areas that we've identified where we see those municipalities that are responding positively. Majority of our municipalities are above the graph, where we are seeing them saving water, and then we've got some few municipalities that are still below the ground, meaning they are taking more than what they are supposed to take. So the restrictions that we've got in place are going to remain. So we don't have any intention to go further, unless if consumers, when the temperatures increase, if consumers consume more than what they need to, we will definitely do that.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for your time, Heidi. So that was Heidi Singo from Rand Water, Executive Manager in Operations, basically saying that there is no crisis at the moment, and there are water restrictions in Gauteng. They will decide whether or not there will be any further water restrictions depending on how much water consumers use.
Heidi Giokos live for us at Rand Water.